welcome everybody to the Wellington Impact Entrepreneurs, which is the Wellington chapter of the world's largest global entrepreneur movement, which is under Genius U. It's under the Genius Group, started by Roger James Hamilton. And we've been going since the beginning of this year, and I know it's December, and so everybody in New Zealand are feeling pretty jolly tired. I know that I've been talking with people in October, and it's now December, and they were saying then that they felt as tired in October as they normally do in December. So I know so many people that are just hanging out to the end of the year. I have got the most wonderful speaker tonight, and he's a guy from Melbourne. His name is Josh Dean, and there have been so many challenges this year for so many people in business, and Josh is going to be sharing tonight about some of the things that he's been through this year, and particularly looking at the power of being true to himself, which has been his guiding light all the way through. He's going to be sharing a lot of the things that have led up to this year in terms of the journey that he's been on, and then what he's done this year to actually bring out more and more of himself in creating his business. So, Josh, I'm really delighted to be able to hand it straight over to you.
Pleasure.
Here we go. So, Josh, tell us about yourself. You've got two different websites there. You've got By Josh Dean, and you've got, what was the other one? It was just on the screen.
yeah, that's all right. Theofficialstyle.com.
That's right, theofficialstyle.com. So those are things that you've created this year, I understand.
So I actually created the website for By Josh Dean at the start of this year, just before lockdown, probably the worst time to kind of launch a business. But I still did it. I didn't let it stop me. Yeah, and I've had The Official Style now for I think about 5 or 6 years. And that kind of came out of a conversation that I had with my agent at the time. And he was just talking about other people that were really busy and what they were doing. And for me, there was no guys in Melbourne. There was no one really like with tattoos and all this kind of stuff that were in my event kind of scene. And I felt like a lot of people weren't as well really putting that extra effort in. So I saw this little gap where I was like, I'm going to jump in there and try to put my little blog together and get out on the street with my partner at the time and take photos of each other. Mm-hmm. And from that, it's really like solidified just so many crazy things where I've worked, I think now with over 200 different brands on that website, promotional stuff, events, like food. I've got like a lifestyle section, and now recently in lockdown, alcohol. So it keeps me busy, and it's really good. Like it's nice to kind of have this little thing where I kind of label it The Official Style to kind of separate it from myself and be something that I can, put a badge on and go, this is official. This is the official style. So
yeah, and you've been able to create all of those different niches on there as well. So yes, I really like that. So you've got two journeys within that story in and of itself, but it must have started from way before that. It hasn't just come out of the ether, has it? So
yeah, 100%.
Tell us a little bit about your background and this journey of being true to yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up on the Sunshine Coast. I am Indigenous Tasmanian Palawa. So that's northern Tasmania. My family migrated up there on my dad's side 2 generations ago. And my mum's side is Irish English. So I am 100% what they would call Australian. In that, though, I have definitely felt like the struggles of an Indigenous person. Like my family grew up in housing commission. I went through different schools, always having like scholarships and this kind of, sense of difference of like, these people can't afford to go to this school, or, these people are a little bit different, etc. So for me, I guess having that, I've always had this inside thing of like, I am a little bit different. Like I look back at my school photos, and at the point in time, I didn't realize I only had one uniform. So in the photos, I'm the kid that's like in the different uniform kind of thing. But, I had lots of friends in school and all that kind of stuff. It didn't really work out for me very well. And I kind of dropped out really young, got into nursing and played in a band. And I was singing in a band. So from that, I got, up on stage, and I just had this point in my life where it was like, me there giving all of these people something to, you know, go to, something to do, like something to sing with, all this like positivity, and I guess just the adrenaline and that feeling of like, I guess being free. And yeah, it really kind of motivated me to be on this kind of platform. I wouldn't say pedestal, but a platform where people would kind of look at you and listen to you. And this is before like Instagram, and I think it was MySpace kind of days. So yeah, back in those days, like it was very heavily, everything was music related. Like it wasn't anything about influencers and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I kind of found myself after my band getting into fashion and seeing like all of these tattooed models and stuff. And I already had tattoos and stuff. So I was just like, oh, you know, maybe I could get into that. When I lived in Brisbane, there wasn't any opportunities really for people like me. And yeah, it meant that I ended up kind of moving down here. But I guess when I lived in Brisbane, there's just like so much adversity for people that do look like me. Like I've had times where I've been searched by the police, like because of just having tattoos, walking home from managing at a bar. Around 2013, when they brought all these anti-intimidation laws in and all these kind of really full-on things, like I seriously felt like I had a target on me. And yeah, it really pushed me to move here. But it's been the best thing that I've done in my life, because moving to Melbourne, I've just met these creative people. Like while I was hairdressing, I had a stylist approach me, got me into modeling, and just kind of opened up this next level, I guess, like a place where I never thought I'd end up. Because when you kind of drop out of school, you're like either going to do a trade, you're going to, you know, like work in retail, like just all minimum wage, I guess, jobs and stuff like that. And for me, like when I did my nursing, I was too young and it wasn't for me. It was always going to be a fallback, I guess. So yeah, for someone to kind of have that opportunity and give me that down here, like where I never really felt like anyone kind of was like, here's a hand, you know, like we'll help you up for the first time. And I'm just like, wow, awesome. So yeah, I've just found a really amazing kind of sense of community here in Melbourne. And I've been able to just do so much with that, like traveled around the world. Like I've done all of like the fashion weeks all around Australia. Yeah, I've just had so much community support. Like it's just, yeah, it's incredible. I feel really privileged to live here.
Fantastic. That sounds absolutely amazing. And I can hear in there the journey that you've had to discovering who you are and discovering your strengths and how you can bring those out to the world, you know, as you were on that platform and singing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, well, what's the next part of your journey?
Yep.
The next part of your journey is to be able to do that modeling.
Yes, and that's it. Yeah.
Find a place where you can be who you are.
I fully felt in that point of time when my band and stuff did end and all this stuff, it was all around 2012, 2013. There was also a massive flood in Brisbane at that point in time. And just all these crazy things going on. And it was just like my life felt over. Like I seriously, like I did not know what to do. I was just so stuck. And like I was this band guy, I was this music guy, but I didn't play instruments. I just sang, apparently. Like, so for me, it was like, you know, I just sang. So I didn't have any other talent or any other skill. And like, yeah, just kind of moving down here out of like just to change and just do something. It was like the full deep end. Like my family don't live down here. I don't know anyone that lives down here. Like I've seen my family, like not as much as I'd like to over the last like 7-8 years that I've been down here. But it's what you do. Like it's what you do when you're kind of, you know, working for yourself, trying to raise that bar for your family and do something different. Like I can't ask them for advice. I kind of find that my parents and me, we have a very friendship-based relationship, I'd say, where I love it because we're really open with each other. And my mum, she's recently like started dating, for instance. So, you know, she'll talk to me about her dating and I can give her a bit of advice because I've had a few girlfriends in my past. So yeah, it's like, it's nice to have that kind of the empathetic kind of understanding of each other.
Yeah. And that's that growth, isn't it? From the child-mother relationship or child-father relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And some people find it really hard to navigate that change into actually you're an adult and so are they. And
Exactly. And I think like when I was younger, like we did butt heads a lot because your parents, they want you to be this certain way. And I really like, I've always stayed true to myself and what I want to do. And, you know, when I got my first tattoo, mum bawled her eyes out, like, but she knew, she's like, when I got one, she goes, "You're not going to do your face, are you?" And I was just like, "Mum, I am." Like, so she's just, yeah, she's been prepared her whole life kind of for me to be like this. And, it's been nice because they are always supportive, even though, you know, she might roll her eyes a little bit here and there, but yeah, they love me a lot. And I think that like, I'm very privileged to have that. And it gives me this little sense of like pride that I am doing different and something like for my family. So it's really nice. Makes it worth the sacrifice living down here.
Yeah, because it is hard to be away from your family. So just as part of that journey that you've had, you know, when you went nursing, you knew that it wasn't for you. So what happened? What happened as that part of your life in terms of realizing I can't do this anymore? I need.
So when I was working in nursing, we did our placements after I finished my like degree for it. And we had to basically at the hospital that I was at work between like a wards person role, a nursing kind of role, an emergency role, and all these different kinds of things. And like in that month that I was there, just the amount of things that I saw, I was only like 18, 19 at the time. And I wasn't prepared. They did not prepare me for like what we would see. Like I was pushing around miscarriages down to get them weighed. I was cleaning up after old women that, you know, like, they're just, it's just this, things you don't want to see. Like, and the money that I was getting paid as well, I was just like, man, like, I don't want to be someone complaining about my life and my job. Like, I take my hat off to people that do it. I really think they don't get paid enough for that job. And sadly, the healthcare system doesn't seem to want to budge in paying that. So they're always going to have this internal struggle of like complaining about how much they are worth to getting paid. And I couldn't be a part of it. Like I was working with older people and they were just so burnt out, and there was no care. Like I really, like, I love people. I love being alive for the fact that other people exist. It's one of my most like amazing things of being alive. I get to share this time with everyone. But when I was there, I just had this cold, just person to person, make the bed, get up. And I feel like I have too much energy inside of me to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and those people that do go into nursing and stay in nursing, they go into it because that is true to themselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they know that they can make a difference. But it wasn't you, and so you knew
they're
it
caring people as well. Like I feel like I might have a bit too much of an ego for it in a way. Like I just think if you're able to put yourself to the side like that and be like that, like, oh, bless you, like seriously. It's definitely, it's an amazing job that these people do.
Yeah, fantastic. So then what's the next part of your journey? You left nursing, you got into Melbourne, you were tattooed, you were a model, you were developing.
So I was doing hairdressing when I moved down here. I started an apprenticeship, and I had a client who scouted me and referred me to an agency. With that agency, basically, I was with them for about 2 years. Over that time, I developed a pretty good relationship with them and started kind of working inside the agency, and meeting all their models and meeting more people and all that kind of stuff. I did want to become an agent at that time and wanted to work kind of in that agency. Like I started modeling what they would say a bit later in life. So I was 24, 25, I think. I'm 30 now. So, like most guys, I think they start in their younger, like 18 to 22 kind of thing. So for me, it was like being a little bit older, I did kind of feel a little bit different than everyone. So to get into the agency, I wanted to like give them, I guess, like what I knew as an older person, my perspective. But basically like I traveled overseas to Milan with my agent and everything then. And he left me while I was over there, like, basically just, stopped talking to me and told me that I was complaining too much. Now, the reason I was complaining was because I found out when I went overseas that traveling overseas modeling on a tourist visa all of the jobs that I was getting and all the bookings I were getting, I wasn't able to get that money back. So of course I'm going to be complaining. So yeah, I kind of realized that they have this really crazy scheme overseas where they'll get people from other countries to go on a gap year, or a young guy, etc., who doesn't really care too much about making the money. He's just there to have a good time, have a bit of a party, get a free ride around, and, you know, meet people, meet attractive people, like work in that kind of world. Me traveling all the way from Australia and footing that like $2,000 plane ticket, breaking up with my partner at the time, you know, leaving my life and just, you know, trying to start. I was like, this is too big of a sacrifice for me to, you know, work, make these bookings, do runways, do fashion shows, and not get paid for it. So yeah, obviously I came home pretty crushed. My agency, like, I ended up working back in there because the guy who sent me over there, they ended up firing him, and all this kind of craziness went on. And I just, yeah, I kind of kept touring around, doing a little bit more modeling here, but really was a bit burnt out from it, and decided to start doing more stuff online with the influencing stuff, and just working for myself, like just trying to kind of, yeah, just create this thing. And I think that's when I was having this conversation with my agent, like at the agency, and him just being like, you know, this is what these people are doing. They've made blogs, they've done this, like that's how they're getting into the Daily Mail, or they're getting here, or blah, blah, blah. So I was looking at that and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this. Like, this is just, if I want to be on that next level, I've got to put in that work. And I think like a lot of it came down to this whole like realization of it's me who's in charge. It's like everyone creates themselves essentially. Like, we think people are created. Like, you look at someone like Justin Bieber or something, like, and then you realize his mom and his dad are like, play drums, like play guitar, like sing, and like, you don't know that there's like, you know, all these other parameters and all these other things until you sit down there and go, all right, you know, I am Justin Bieber. I do want to sing, like, or I do want to do this. I do want to create this blog. Like, I want to separate myself. Like, it's until you do that, it's not going to change for you. I personally don't think. Like, you'll just be getting dragged around from, you know, place to place, person to person.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that making that decision to actually go and do that then releases your power much more. You know,
Yeah.
If Justin Bieber had been just, you know, playing drums, etc., he wouldn't be this guy that he is now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Totally different.
I saw in his documentary, he was like to his mum, I'm going to go here. And like at 6 years old or something, he was playing at like some step of some like shopping center or something every day, just wanting to be seen by people. And like, you know, that's amazing for a kid like that to do that, to have that confidence in themselves. It's, you know, it really shows me like that's what it takes. It just takes you to go, no, I'm this, I don't care. Stuff what anyone else thinks. This is me. And this is how I want to be seen from the world. So yeah, I feel like I've really, really taken that on, like, since I kind of started doing all my influencing stuff. And yeah, it's not really a fake it till you make it strategy. It's a knowing this is who I am strategy, yet the world doesn't really see this yet. I've got to show them who I am, because if you're faking it, it's not real, and it's not going to be real.
And that's one of the things that's changed hugely, isn't it, over the last particularly couple of years, because the Instagrammers used to be able to project this image of who they were, but people are seeing through that now, just as you're saying. And so we have to know who we are, and we have to bring that authentic through. Yeah.
I think, there's a fair few people like that have been called out in recent years of just like going through and buying marketing strategies and marketing things, and like, you know, faking all of their numbers and all this and all that. And people wonder, you know, like, how do they do this? Where do they get that money from, kind of thing? And it's this whole, they're being funded by marketing companies to fund themselves to do this. And no one's actually seeing them. No one even really cares. It's just this whole ego thing in this person just trying to get out there.
And especially when you add in the bot followers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think Melbourne has a serious issue with it. It's crazy. Like, the amount of followers, like people that I'll see with like 100,000 followers, and I'm just like, I don't understand why they do it to themselves, because I don't know, just I feel like people are going to judge you automatically. Like they're going to think that you haven't worked hard. It's kind of like, you know, taking steroids in a way. Like you've got the bulk, but you know, can you lift a toothpick? Like,
Yeah. And so what? I mean, a bot isn't going to pay you. You're paying the bot, aren't you?
exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry, my chihuahua.
Cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. So I suppose this brings us into this year, because it's been a huge year. And as you said before, you just launched by Josh Dean
Yes,
at
I
the
did.
beginning of
Yeah.
this year. So, and then Melbourne went into lockdown and the whole world went into lockdown. So what's happened? What have you done this year, Josh?
So basically I started all my By Josh Dean stuff, all my denim customization and art and all that kind of stuff. Just as a kind of creative experiment, just for myself to have something to do. That was me. Because the official style is stuff I do, and essentially like it's my job to promote things. I do only promote things I like, but I feel like when you are promoting and pushing stuff, it's different artistic side of you. Like I love creating the images, but I create them from a marketing kind of standpoint. And I use my, you know, all my history in fashion and all the people that I've been lucky enough to work with as my basis to make that. It's not really me. So with my By Josh Dean, it's purely my fashion. I like my art, my stuff. I try to just separate it completely. But yeah, I started doing a few kind of live like paintings and expos and stuff like that. At the start of the year, I had a massive kind of festival scene booked where I was going to go from Melbourne all the way up to Queensland and do like 4 different kind of festivals and do live painting on jackets. And yeah, it was going to sell them. There's going to be lots of people there. I was going to have my own booth. It was going to be awesome. Didn't happen. So yeah, that kind of knocked the wind out of my sails a little bit, and I tried to think of a new strategy of what to do with it all. And because I was doing house painting and all this stuff when I was younger, I found these kind of certain paints that were really good to paint on denim because I couldn't wash them out of my own kind of cotton clothes. So I got this paint and I've reformulated it, rebottled it, packaged it myself, created a new marketing strategy for it, and tried to push this out instead of selling my own art, but in selling it in a way of giving people something to do for themselves. So yeah, that's going like quite well. It's been going really good since about July. And obviously it wasn't as fast as I would hope, but at the same time, just even getting like people having response and all this kind of stuff in this time, in this climate for a new brand, like, yeah, I feel really, really good about it. And yeah, it's been nice. I've been able to pick up like a couple of venues to paint and stuff now that we've come out of lockdown. But yeah, I've gone so inward this year. Like it's just, yeah, at the time when I was going through lockdown, because obviously in Melbourne, like we had this crazy, I think it was like what 100 days, 100 and something, I don't know. But we had this, yeah, just epic point from July onwards of just not leaving our house, like no friends over, nothing, like working for myself, not seeing anyone. It was just like, oh, this is so negative. This is like the hardest thing in my life. But looking at it now and how busy I am and how busy I was, I really feel like I actually was quite successful in it. And I was probably a little bit too hard on myself in it. Cause yeah, like it was crazy. We're very privileged here in Australia to be able to get given all this government support, like to be able to stay at home. I was able to pay my rent. I didn't have to stress for like the first time in a long time, because freelancing and being creative, it's like I'm waiting for invoices, I've got a new job, I'm pulling all these things around, and it was just like,
yeah,
stop. Yeah, it's okay now. You can just paint, and Dan Andrews has your back. It's okay.
Yeah. That's really, really cool, because it has given you that opportunity to be able to relax and to do the things that you've needed to do in order to be able to create your new business or grow your new business out of it.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, and it gave me that point to think like, oh, okay, so I love making my art and painting this stuff. What can I do now? Like, and then to, think about, oh, okay, I'm gonna put the paint out that I'm using. I'm gonna reformulate it, make my own. And yeah, it's just, I never would have thought of that. Like, I even just all the alcohol stuff that I'm doing now, it's like, because fashion went so dead, no one's buying anything in retail. None of my clients were hitting me up. Like, I was watching the same content, the same things over and over. I was just like, all right, what is everyone like at the moment? What are we all doing? We're all drinking. I'm going to make cocktails at home. I'm going to teach people and teach myself how to make cocktails at home. And from that, I've now picked up so many amazing clients, and like, it's changed me. It's changed this new trajectory that I'm on now. And like, I want to get into more presenting roles, and hopefully, leads to something else. But yeah, it's just, I never would have had that moment to really like sit back and assess that, because I've just been like, just going continuously. Like, I've got a candle on here, this side burning at both ends, and that's me. Like, I was just doing it. I feel like it's been blown out. Like,
yeah. Well, it might be tattooed here on me, but it's just invisible. So I think that's been the story of my life since I was a teenager. Mum always used to say to me, would you stop burning the candle at both ends? So, and it's been very true for me as well this year, actually, the burning the candle at both ends. But it's amazing what comes out of it. And
exactly.
that's what I'm hearing from you as well. And I love how with the By Josh Dean, where you've got this paint that you have reformulated, you're not just selling art, but you're selling that ability for other people to have that self-expression and to be able to bring themselves out, isn't it?
Yeah. Once things quiet down, I really want to try to get around to communities and teach people how to paint denim, and just, like, kind of spread that around, because I think that there's just so much healing you can do with art, and you can really give people this confidence and this pride when they make something and they just love it. Like, I know for myself, someone that's like dealt with depression and times in my life when I felt really bad, I've gone out and I've created something, and I've sat back and I've looked at it, and it's made me fall back in love with myself.
Yeah. Challenge for you, Josh.
Yes.
Do you need to wait until you get out there? Can you start doing this online? Can you start doing it through Zoom?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Teaching people how to paint denim.
Yeah, this is a good challenge.
Yeah.
So this should be my New Year's resolution.
Absolutely. Don't wait. Why wait?
Yeah, no, this is true. The
opportunities are there.
Of our life. Send to the hourglass.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm seeing so many other people do those sorts of things, teaching piano or teaching dance, or and just there's so many opportunities there, and I can see the possibility there for, have you ever thought about painting denim?
Yeah. And more
I've made this amazing
thing now as well. So I guess that's the thing. It's like, we've really got to start thinking about using the internet. Using it to our abilities and what we have and who we are. It's back to my topic, like, in staying true to yourself. Like, that's where I personally see a lot of us entrepreneurs, especially, that's where we're going to find ourselves in the future. There's this movie, it's from the creators of South Park. It's called Idiocracy. I'm not sure, have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so Idiocracy, it is amazing. It's almost like they've got this device that they've just stared into the future, and it's the future that we don't want. But it's the future that I think is becoming all too real. Like, in this movie, they're like, there's no plants growing, and they're watering the plants with like Gatorade or whatever, and they're wondering why it's not working. They've got on TV, everything is all hypersexualized, and it's like, it's just, it's what we're becoming in a way. And I feel like it's something that we need to actually acknowledge and realize where we're sending ourselves as, a civilization. Like, of course, there are certain things in our brain that we're going to like the McDonald's red and yellow colors, like these things that they're going to market to us, the music, the things that they know, the algorithms that follow us, all these things. But at the same time, like, we choose to buy into it. Yes. And we choose to kind of continue this cycle. So I just think, like, when people kind of start to acknowledge that they are themselves and they are able to think, and they might have to take the glasses off their eyes and or put the glasses on and see the world properly. But we all have that ability to do that. And I think this year, especially for me, I was able to read some amazing books and really like have that time as well while doing my art to go inwards and kind of understand that a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting what you're saying, because one of the things that Roger Hamilton talks about, which he's the founder of this global movement called Genius Group, the Entrepreneurs Institute, and he talks about that this is critical time. This is the final test, if you like, and it's up to business people all around the world to make a difference. And that's why I've called this Wellington Impact Entrepreneurs, is because I'm wanting to support other business people who are wanting to make an impact in the world and through business, which so that we don't end up in that situation.
Exactly.
If we don't start to work towards that, then that's what will happen. But where can we make an impact? And
people are prepared to listen. That's the thing. Right. I feel like we don't realize how much we actually are prepared to listen. Like, everyone loves podcasts, loves videos, everyone loves Netflix, but it's like, what are you listening to?
Yes, absolutely.
It's crazy. I saw on the news today, we've created the same amount of biomass as we have structures or whatever that's on the entire planet today. So we're like, the scales are leveled.
That's exactly what I heard as well this morning. Yeah. Well, absolutely wonderful, Josh. I've been able to ask heaps of questions and things there, and I'm just wondering if John, Lisa or Dara have got any questions that they're wanting to ask you as well.
It's not a question. Hey, Josh.
How are you? How you going?
I'm good. Sorry, I got off a plane, so I just missed the very beginning. But great talk. Thanks a lot. It's not a question, but I just wanted to say you're very inspiring. So thanks a lot for that.
Thanks, mate. Absolute pleasure. Thanks again for getting me involved as well.
No problems. It was my pleasure. It was great to hear from you.
Mine's not a question either, Josh. I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your story. I do apologise. I had to take a phone call in the middle of it, so I did miss part of it. But what I did hear was really inspiring, and thank you for sharing.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. My pleasure.
It's one of the problems, isn't it? When we're online, we can go off and but that's the beauties of it as well, isn't it?
That is, yeah. Exactly.
We can share wherever in the world. So I'm looking forward to seeing these videos and things of painting denim.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
New Year's resolution. For the cocktails.
Lisa's in for the cocktails. So
I've got a Maker's Mark cocktail coming up in the next week or so. So there you go. Get some whiskey into you.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thanks very, very much, Josh. That's really fantastic for tonight. And just hang on. Yep.
Absolute pleasure. No, it's fine.
Sorry, there we go. Thanks very, very much for tonight and for talking with us. I'll send you through the recording of this, and I wish you all the best, and we'll be following what you're doing, because it sounds really, really cool. So
thank you. All the best to you as well. Appreciate it.
And have a great Christmas and a happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. Hopefully I'll catch you next year.
Yeah, great. Because that's actually something that we will be continuing this right through next year. This has been the first year, and it's been a really interesting year in terms of working out how to make it work on Zoom and that sort of stuff. But we'll be putting a plan together and planning to continue those monthly events. So the second Thursday of every month, we've got it on, not January. Second Thursday from February on, we've got it on. Yeah,
you have a holiday.
Yeah, I think we all need a holiday.
Actually, yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much.
Amazing. No, good.